Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches!
Episode 285.
Tonight we're reviewing Beau Is Afraid. The new Ari Aster movie that is not really, it's the least horror-y of his movies that I've seen.
This seemed like a broad comedy, and I had a great time laughing at it. I mean, it is classified as a comedy, horror, thriller, whatever. Oh, but first things first.
Thank you. Shout out to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month gets you ad-free early access. $10 gets you access to our viewing parties. Second thing second, make sure to subscribe, hit that little bell, give us a thumbs up, share, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Letterboxd.
All of the things.
All of the things. We've been posting like little shorts on TikTok and or Instagram, etc. So, you know, retweet, etc. I don't know.
If you want to.
No. You have to. No,
Listen to your mother!
Exactly.
Listen to your mother, sweetie. Billy Sue, listen to your mother!
Oh boy. Okay, so Beau Is Afraid, the
Yes.
new Ari Aster comedy that shooketh the world.
I don't understand.
I don't get it. So everybody was talking about how this movie, I mean, I guess that kind of happened with all of Ari Aster's movies, and maybe it's just art school and I've been so desensitized.
But I don't have the breadth of your exposure.
Right.
And yet I was not scandalized by this.
No.
I really,
I get it, right? Okay.
I don't get it.
I get it to a certain extent. It's a 3-hour, crazy, over the top, big, bombastic, weird. There's weird stuff, right? Like I get it to a certain extent, but to the extent that everybody was so scandalized.
Oh, I'm scandalized.
And that there were multiple accounts of people
Vomiting
yelling and getting up and leaving in anger.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I did take a pee break because I was like, you know what? I think I'll be okay. And it turns out I was.
Well, you went during the slowdown section.
Yeah. Oh, he's running through the woods. I think I can go and come back and I'll be all right.
Right.
Because it's slowly paced. And I think we could have picked up the pace and cut easily 30 minutes out of this movie.
Something about the audacity of it being 3 hours, I think adds to the fuck you of it all.
Sure.
So there's something about it that I don't hate. And I wasn't personally bored.
I was.
I know you were. I wouldn't say like thoroughly entertained throughout, but I was perfectly engaged throughout. Like there was always something going on.
Yes.
Something shifted. Something surprised me. Something was happening in the background.
Yes.
Something I didn't expect. Choices were being made that I was constantly like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. You surprised me. What? So I was never bored.
Okay.
For me. Like there was times when it was slower.
Yep.
But I wasn't ever like, oh my God, this is driving me crazy.
I was.
Okay.
However, I also agree about all of the other things where it was like, there was so much visual information to take in.
Yeah.
There were so many choices and like the depth of, he had a plan for everything.
It felt intentional.
Absolutely. And so
obviously personal.
Yes. And often funny and engaging. And so there was a lot of times where I was really into it.
Yeah.
And then it would slow and I was just like, okay, can we like just come on. I checked my watch probably 4 times.
I know.
I'm sorry.
So I would say
yes.
I would say go watch it. I mean, if you're at all interested in weird, cinema with like an artistic point of view and going in it's long.
Yeah.
And you at all liked his other movies.
Yeah.
I would say go see it. Like, I think this is my favorite movie of his.
I think maybe.
Like, I had the most fun. I'm glad he leaned into the comedy because in Hereditary, I was laughing my ass off and it was sort of supposed to be there, but maybe not so much.
Right.
Midsommar was bleak as fuck.
Yes.
And not funny, but weird.
Yes. Maybe a little funny, but not not the same way.
And this was, I laughed. This is the hardest I've laughed in a new movie in a very long time.
I love that.
So I don't know.
I mean, there were
that does say something
times,
about me, but
well, yes, but it's definitely your sense of humor as well. But there were a lot of things that were funny,
really funny visually.
Yes.
Like it was edited funny.
Yeah.
There was specific cuts and camera moves and choices made that was like punchline. This is a joke. Laugh.
Yeah.
There's a dead man in the pool! So you just here with your mom?
Only sometimes. Right now I'm by myself.
I agree with you. I mean, I think at this point it might be hard to find in a theater. I would say if you're watching it at home, it's definitely a put your phone on, do not disturb,
away.
Focus on it. Because if you're not, I mean, I guess you could probably leave for like the slower scenes and come back 30 seconds later or whatever, and it'll still be going.
Pay attention to the art.
But yes,
just do it. Go on this adventure with him.
Yes.
Experience what it is like to be inside of Ari Aster's mind.
Oh boy.
Help me! 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 Help me!
This made me feel good about my anxiety.
Absolutely, yes. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Right, spoiler alert.
Ari Aster described it as Lord of the Rings, but for Jews, where he's just going home to see his mother.
Listen to your mother when I tell you to not be like my...
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Like, that Mordor is his mother. It's just so good. Mordor? Well, there's Mordor is the mountain.
Right.
But then there's the eyeball is...
Sauron.
Sauron. Anyway, he's trying to get that ring into that... He needs a cock ring. Anyway, well, just because...
Oh, because of the giant cock!
We just gotta get that. Just okay. Yeah. No, but it was fun seeing. We made a point to see it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's harder to do.
Right.
But like, there was something very exciting about seeing something so weird and.
Well, and it's definitely cinematic, as all of his movies are. And I really do appreciate that from him. Even though I've never really liked any of his movies. I've liked so many parts about all of them.
Hey, I'd rather that.
Absolutely. Because that's what keeps me going back.
Yeah.
You know? Hereditary, I don't want to ever watch that movie again.
No.
Midsommar, I don't want to ever watch that movie again. But I will watch the clips and I'll see the visuals and be like, that was fucking iconic.
Yeah.
The bear, all of iconic.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm into it. This one's just a little bit more cerebral than the others and less of just like a moody horror.
I love that he took his blank check and said, I'm going to make one of the most audacious studio films.
Yes.
Because it's a studio movie.
Yes.
But for a studio movie, it's quite audacious.
Well, it's not a studio movie. It's A24. Let's just be like...
But they spent so much stupid money on it.
Well, sure, but they have to. But it's not like it's Universal.
No.
Just
But, you know.
Disney's not releasing this. I'm just being clear.
And I'm so excited that Ari Aster has not been swallowed up by Disney or Marvel. Yeah. And I don't think he will
I don't think
that's going to happen. But you never know. I mean, would I watch Ari Aster's, take on...
Howard the Duck?
I'm such a lucky girl in love.
Yes, though?
Yes? I mean, honestly, I would probably watch Ari Aster's take on most things.
Pretty much.
Just because it's always interesting. I'm always like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was the first movie in a while, and I'm not saying that it reached this height, but this is the first movie in a while that's made me feel the same-ish way as when I watched Eraserhead. Or David Lynch movies in general.
Yeah.
David Lynch has a way of invading your psyche and your like dreamlike inner soul. Things you didn't even know you thought about.
Sure.
Lynch has a way of making you think about them.
Sure.
Where you're like, I didn't even process that I had that thought before I watched that movie. Whoa. Where this is much more... He put you in his head.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But it felt that it was that visceral, sort of like anxiety-inducing, visually captivating. It was giving me very like Charlie Kaufman adaptation vibes.
Yep. Sure. Yes.
Adaptation did it with, madcap voiceover.
Right.
This did it with pure visual, like... Madness.
And it was so fun and funny, all of the visuals and the absurdity going on. I think for me, what was frustrating was that I never had a single moment of reality.
I think that's better. I did think at the very, very end, spoiler alert, it was going to not all be a dream, but come macro out.
Right.
And be like, of course I'm coming, Mom. Like, to have it be like, none, like, this was all the pre-anxiety of going.
Exactly.
And then he was
this
like,
was all the entirety
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Something like that. I think that's too cutesy and put a button in it for him.
Yes.
But I thought it was going to peel back the layers and
Sure.
be like, oh, that was all happened in 5 seconds of his, you know.
Exactly.
But it was 3 hours of torture.
No, I'm on my way to the airport. Yes, I'm going to be there 3 hours early. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm visiting my mother tomorrow.
I know you are. Your father's anniversary. Do you ever wish that she was dead?
What? Of course not.
But anyway, Beau Is Afraid. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
As our lead.
Was great.
Great. He's a great actor. What can I say? He's great. I thought they did a fantastic job casting all the younger selves.
Yeah.
So the young Joaquin Phoenix really, because, you know, Parenthood.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
I was going, yes.
Yeah, you're right. We saw how
it actually looked or
Yeah.
whatever. And the young Parker Posey I thought was great. Zoe Lister-Jones plays young Patti Lupone.
Yeah.
And
who knew?
I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah,
really.
great.
I mean, I didn't realize it was her until the credits.
I didn't either.
So I was like, good for you.
Wow, yeah.
All the casting.
Obviously, Patti Lupone, we buried that lead.
Patti Lupone.
Lady Gaga.
Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane.
Lady Gaga.
Parker Posey.
Yes, I mean, yes. That was
That's
the real,
what pushed you over the edge.
Absolutely.
Like, okay.
I was like, a 3 hour, whatever.
I really had to get you into that theater, but I'm glad we did.
I'm glad we did
I laughed
too.
so hard. I think the audience was mostly on board, but I don't know.
There was laughter in the audience.
Yeah.
No one seemed annoyed at us for laughing because I think they realized that like what we were laughing at was, we just maybe had a larger
reaction to it. Joaquin Phoenix has to go visit his mom.
Yeah.
It's been a few months.
7 months. Do you feel guilty about that? I like that that's the only thing that he wrote.
Because he's not a real therapist.
Well, sure.
Do you sometimes wish she was dead? It's okay if you do.
Right.
The implication of that by the end.
Yeah.
So we start, I do love when artists are like, fuck you, I'm going for broke.
Sure.
Right? So it starts and it's like,
oh, right,
weird,
it's him being born.
Weird noises. Oh, great, we're starting in the birth canal. What is this? Look who's talking. I'm so into what's happening. This is so absurd and stupid. Literally being birthed, dropped on the floor, his horrific birth, right?
Yeah. And then
I just like that we started there.
Yeah, and then basically the baby gets, slapped on the back to start breathing into therapy. Beau's world that he's living in, the post-apocalyptic nightmare that he is living in, was so well done. All the extra work. Oh my God.
And just the constant dancing guy and the birthday boy stab man.
Oh my God, right, the news comes on.
Search continues for the man known as Birthday Boy Stab Man, who in the last week has claimed 3 more lives.
Terrible serial killer, birthday boy stab man. And it's just like it was enough absurdity. I mean, obviously, it was all absurd.
He is known for prowling the streets without clothes and stabbing random pedestrians in the neck and guts. Witnesses have identified him as a circumcised white male.
It was everything was heightened.
Exactly.
Right,
You weren't in danger of ever being like, oh no, is he, this is crazy. It was like, no, this is clearly all in his head.
You always knew it was his reality. You always knew it was an exaggeration.
Yes.
But that collective anxiety that's been going around in the world,
Yeah.
this felt very cathartic in that way. Like, oh, okay, this is this is what the news wants you to feel like, essentially, right? Birthday boy stab man is coming to get you,
Exactly.
whatever.
Oh no, you didn't close the door. Your thing is gonna like everyone's gonna steal and everyone's gonna come in and everyone's gonna murder you. And...
Everything is just at 12,
Yeah.
you know, and him running to his apartment and just it was so active. Everything was so active and felt very much like an 80s apocalyptic, you know, Escape from New York, but it's like anxiety. And I just really, really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. And I love that we don't know a lick about Beau.
No.
Except his mother and his anxiety.
Yep.
Like, we don't know what he does. We don't know what he likes. We don't know what he does, because he doesn't know. But that was so fun to me by the end. Like, this entire movie is literally inside his brain, and we don't know anything about him. Like, it wasn't in an uninteresting way where I was like, true. I don't know him or don't care.
I guess that for me was part of it, though. Like, maybe when I say, like, I wanted some sort of reality, some sort of grounding, I guess I wanted something of, like, what am I attaching to? Because I'm not attaching to any of this fake nonsense that's constantly changing and whatever. So I just am floating.
I think I was attaching to the idea of your own anxiety making you crazy and just sort of, like, going into his world.
Yes, but again, without any sort of...
It was like the whole movie took place inside the tunnel of John Malkovich world.
I mean, it was...
And we never went out to the office building. You know, we never went to that. But, you know, I was okay with it, but I know what you mean.
This was very, like, deranged Big Fish meets John Malkovich.
Yeah. There hasn't been a movie like this weird in a while.
Yeah.
And I like weird, like, obviously.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I like fucking weird movies.
Sure, I get it.
And particularly when then normal critics or average viewers are like enraged by something or so upset by art. I like when people are so upset by art because that means it's doing its job.
Right.
And so I'm gleefully delighted when people are like rageful about art. I don't know.
Sure.
I like it a lot. But just a visual delight.
Oh, yes.
Every single signage is ridiculous. Like his TV dinner is Hawaiian Ireland TV dinner. You know, like everything's...
Ireland?
Yeah, it was like Irish Hawaii.
How weird.
And what I like that.
Oh, is that why it was like, quick. Oh, aloha?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes. So like, I mean, I would almost actually want to watch this movie again. There was just so many visual things going on. There was one sign that just said death by anal, murder, fuck. Like there was just like I'm like, you know, and all of the really aggressive graffiti with just dicks and coming and whatever, because like, I think Ari Aster himself described this movie as like, it's about a guy that just really needs to come. Oh. You know, like that's the main goal. And like when you look at all the
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
Oh, right. But so this is where the road trip, it's not a road trip, but whatever, like the big fish of it starts to happen, right? Where he, I forget why he gets hit by a car?
Well, he's just trying to get to his mom's house, right? And so it's the first part, we're in the city, in his apartment.
And his keys get stolen out of the door, and
his suitcase is gone. And then he took the pills without the water, so that he has to go leave his room open, so that he has to go steal the water, and then he doesn't have enough change, and then the homeless people are breaking into his apartment, and then they throw a party in his apartment, oh my God, and whatever, And then, because he didn't show up, he gets a phone call from a UPS driver.
Oh God, that's right. Oh my God. That says that his mom has been killed by a chandelier.
She's been decapitated. Ari Aster really there was a lot of
decapitation
references to his own movies.
Okay,
you know, there was like the decapitation, and then at the end when they're in the big...
He goes shopping with his mother. At one point she lost him. Or so she thought.
A vote of no confidence from Chancellor Valois when they're in like the Truman Show Coliseum. And his defense attorney throws himself onto the rocks. That was very Midsommar. So there was a lot, you know, of referencing his own art and his own brain, obviously. Or whatever. But yeah, a series of, like, this was a series of calamitous events that only got funnier because they just kept compounding and being crazier and crazier and crazier. But he is naked, and there's a homeless person hiding in his apartment. So then they're fighting about them. Then he runs outside naked, and then birthday boy Stabman is there, and and he runs away, and then we get to see his CGI ball sack hit the windshield of the. That was a big laugh. That was a big laugh that we got out of that one.
And then Nathan Lane and who was
and Amy Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a series of blackouts.
Right.
Right. And so next chapter, and now we're in the suburbs. It kept getting further away, right? It was like density, kind of suburbs, the woods, and then like palatial mansion. You know, we just
that house.
Loved it.
Kind of.
Want to stay in it for an Airbnb?
I don't think so. It felt like a murder death trap.
It was, it turns out.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But in other ways that I would have, like, there's no railing.
No, it was not up to code, that's for certain.
For certain.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was a house it's visually engaging, but terrible to live in.
Oh, yeah, I would not want
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Amy Ryan and Nathan Lane take him in.
This was so weird where you're like, what weird cult, like, what is this?
They put an ankle bracelet on. Hey, just take these pills. This was very damning of the pharmaceutical company and all of the take a pill, take a pill.
It was interesting that that was the entire thing, right?
Yep.
It starts off and that was the
therapist. Yeah.
Right, the therapist is like, here, I have this new pill for you. If he had taken the pill but hadn't taken it with water, then it would have been like a real Gremlins thing, right? Like, oh, you should have taken it with water. Now you're gonna go crazy.
There's no plot per se.
No.
And none of Ari Aster's movies have a plot per se.
Sure.
That's not what he's interested in.
Right. Like it's like a glimpse of
like
this
a cause and
scenario.
effect. That's not. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yes.
His movies are an experience. And I'm happy to continue watching them, honestly.
That's true, because they are an experience. I mean, you're going in, you're going to get an experience. It's going to be a fully realized world.
Yep.
There's going to be iconic visuals.
Iconic
possibly,
mothers.
And yep.
Oscar-worthy fucking performances.
Yep.
From Fabulous Kunz.
Yep.
I wasn't worthy of her love. I hadn't earned it, and I never earned it, no matter what I did. No matter how much of my deepest, real self I denied and buried and smothered until it was dead. None of it mattered.
Give Patti Lupone an Oscar for this.
And give Toni Collette a
retroactive Oscar for Hereditary. Yeah. Honestly, yes.
Just fucking say it. Don't you swear at me, you little shit. Don't you ever raise your voice at me. I am your mother.
I agree, yes. And Florence Pugh.
Sure.
She was fabulous in Midsommar. She was absolutely fabulous in Midsommar. So yes. 3 Oscars in a row, give it to him.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Love it.
So then we're now in a new location, and we're in a little girl's bedroom who's obsessed with K-pop, and everything's cutesy, and Captain Marvel or Professor Marvelos, just like everything was a dig. Everything was. I really enjoy this, obviously,
yeah.
But you also know that Ari Aster 100% approved every single piece of everything that was in the background.
It was all intentional and whatever. He has an idea of who everyone is, how they should be interacting, and what the backdrop is going to be.
Yeah. This nightmare fuel of being locked in this house. Oh, you can't leave. I got to go to my mom's house. She's dead. I think she's dead. Oh my God.
I'm humiliating her by not burying the body soon enough.
I got hit by a car. I got stabbed.
We are waiting, Beau. And every minute more that we wait only deepens the humiliation.
Oh, because Richard Kind on the phone.
Because Richard Kind on the phone. I was like, oh my God, it's Richard Kind.
I was just watching something with Richard Kind recently, and I was just like, what's going on with Richard Kind? So I'm glad to see that he was in this, because I think he's great.
I think he's fabulous.
Like, a Richard Kind, I love your work. I want to see that. We should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you steal it?
No. Oh my God! Is there no end to your madness?
Every visual, like right down to like their dining room chairs gave me anxiety. Like, remember they're atrocious, the like heavy patterned high back dining room.
Were really
like I was like, oh, like, and he picked those on purpose.
Absolutely.
You know it.
Absolutely.
So it's everything like that. You know, the silk pajamas with his name already embroidered on them.
Oh, the girl.
The sister.
Yes.
She was amazing.
She was in Landscape with Invisible Hand, playing a very similar role. Bitchy young girl.
Right. But she did it well.
But she does it well.
Really well.
That's a good role for her. Now.
Her unhinged, paint scene, I'll leave it at that, was fantastic.
I mean,
And I do like that he captured how different generations give you different anxiety.
Sure.
You know?
Yes.
Different locations give you different
anxiety.
It was interesting. So it started and we're in the city and there's all, there's homeless people and maniacs running around.
Right.
Like it's very, very over the top, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like,
and plumbing shutting down and this
everything. But it was just,
clues in the building or whatever.
I was going, oh, I'm kind of really excited to see what his like anxiety about the woods are.
Right.
And then the woods were a peaceful place.
Sure.
And we went to, this was a different movie.
An entirely different
in the middle of this movie. Right. Oh, so Nathan Lane.
This was the real big fish part of it.
This was the real big fish part of it. This was where it slowed down. The Amy Ryan, Nathan Lane section, amazing, loved it, hilarious, great. That happens and he runs out into the woods and
away from the crazy military
brother. Because there's a guy with PTSD that's just constantly stalking him in the background of every shot when they're at Nathan Lane's house, looking over his shoulder. And finds a wood nymph in the woods that's pregnant.
And then there's a theater production.
Then we go into an animation sequence and this, and his whole life flashes before his eyes, and he's in Walter Houston drag, and it was just like, now we're on this adventure.
Right, and my 3 sons that
Where have you been? Where's mother? Oh my God, it was so much.
So much.
This was definitely like, I was just like gleefully like hearing the studio notes, like, Ari, we gotta... What is this? We got to cut this down. Can we?
No, you can't lose any of it.
No, none of it. Not a stitch. But I did this visually and totally engaging. All these 2D houses in the woods.
I think I was the most engaged by this, perhaps because it was more traditional storytelling.
It was less anxiety inducing.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah, it was more. It felt like a Leica movie.
Yes, it was very Leica-y. Yeah. And it was nice to have just like a little bit, like you said, like a break.
Like a little break.
You know, it's just like, it was so much like, I can't, what am I supposed to be afraid of? Or what's the thing? What's going to happen? What's going to come for it now? And it was like, and now we're just in this different story.
Right.
And then...
this tall tale. And then we get a couple of flashback scenes. Oh, because she's Mona Wasserman from Wasserton.
Right. Oh my God.
Just really made me laugh. It was stupid. Welcome to Wasserton.
Yeah. Well, was that...
Yeah.
Because the town is named after her, because she had that like big company.
I think so. I think
it was like a company town.
Because part of it was Patti Lupone has faked her own death to guilt trip her son into coming home.
Right.
Because he can't seem to make it happen.
Right.
With all of his anxieties and such and everything. And so she horrifically fakes her own accidental death to guilt him into getting back to the house, which is just like so insane and so amazing.
Yes.
But I think, because I'm going, well, obviously nobody checked the DNA or the whatever, and she's just been nice. And I was like, oh, she just like owns the town.
Mona, who was petrified of squirrels. Mona, who single-handedly built a super business.
Right.
Like, it's just...
Well, because her logo, the MW, like the squiggles...
was at the front of the movie,
It was at the front of the movie, too. And it was
she owns everything.
It was also on an ad that he saw or whatever for like a pharmaceutical or something. It was like multiple products, right?
Oh, and I loved the literal visual timeline in her office.
Oh, yes. Where we started, where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
It was frustrating to me that it went from right to left, although maybe that's the Jewish.
I think so, because I thought the exact same thing.
I was like, I should have gone the other way.
I see what you did there. Clever boy.
Clever boy.
And these flashbacks to the cruise with with young Parker Posey and...
Do you think your mom's a cunt?
What do you mean?
Well, it's okay. My mom's a complete cunt.
Was that when they took the Polaroid? No, it was a different day. That was. Here's the Polaroid. Take a picture of me. I'm going to sign it.
Think of me. Wait for me.
Will you wait for me? What is going on? I love you. Will you wait for me?
What's happening?
I love you.
Yeah, wait for me. And then he's like, I waited for you.
This and Beau have in common that they are about a man who really needs to come.
That is true, right? So then a guy who just needs to come. Yeah. So that was part of it too, was that he was told by his mother that his father died.
Oh my God! Spoiler
in conception.
Alert. This scene with Zoe Leester, this dramatic lighting of just, and then your father died while he was still inside of me, as he came.
It's a genetic.
Same thing happened to his grandfather and his father.
And it could happen to you. So then it was, of course he's afraid to have sex.
And that's why I assume that's why his balls were so extended.
Oh, right.
We gotta check that out.
Oh, we gotta check that out. I did. Oh, right. Because Nathan Lane is like, I'm worried because your balls.
About your balls. I'm concerned about your balls.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
My balls. Oh, boy.
So, quick commercial break and we'll be back with more dicks.
Yes. Of all shapes and sizes. This one's like thick and
really thick. You're right. It's a multiple watcher.
Because there's just so much happening. Yeah. And even though there's not a plot per se, there is a forward momentum.
Yes.
And there is a bit of a mystery, right? Because it's like, we don't know if she's dead or not.
Right.
In my head, I'm going, well, I know Patti Lupone's showing up. So is she going to be a ghost? Is it going to be a flashback? Or is she dead? Is she not dead? What's going on? Whatever. But the ultimate guilt trip of faking your own death to see your son. I mean, it's just the most amazing. So then he's knocked out once again. And now we're in the next section.
Yes. And he finally makes it.
He's only at peace when he's unconscious.
There you go. Yeah. He makes it to his mom's house where... The Shiva Steve is there. This truck.
The caterer?
Yeah.
Shiva Steve?
Shiva Steve is the caterer. Parker Posey shows up late for the Shiva.
Oh my God.
Yeah, have you watched Shiva Baby yet?
No, I really have to.
It's so great. It's short. It's great.
I'm excited.
Because I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah,
Rachel Sennott.
Yeah.
Fully into it. Anyway, he's a Libra moon. That means a lot.
You don't ask what your middle name is, okay? For a really long time. He's a Libra moon.
She could have been in this.
I would have been into it.
I don't know as who, but she could have shown up.
I feel like she can do a lot of things.
It all.
And I'm into it.
Do it all.
Ready for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Parker Posey shows up.
Oh my God. Do I love Parker Posey?
Love her.
I mean, honestly.
Someone who knows the tone of...
Oh my God. Tell me about it. Rides that perfect line.
Yeah.
She's the girl from the past.
And so then they have this like reconnection. You waited for me, whatever. And then they go inside and then they fuck in his mom's bed.
They fuck in his mom's vagina bed.
Sure.
I mean, it was like
I was into the bed.
This pink,
It was very 80s.
It was very mommy dearest.
Yes.
It felt like very mommy dearest.
Very mommy
all
dearest.
these like shades of pink
Yes.
and velvety,
Yes.
velvet
Velvet plush.
drapey,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
And Parker Posey looked great. She's fully nude, looks fantastic, doesn't look like crazy plastic surgery at all,
No.
looked normal, and I was like, thank you.
Oh my God.
For looking normal.
I think this was when I laughed the hardest.
Oh my God. She gets hooked up to the Sonos speakers.
Yes. She starts playing Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby.
And isn't that appropriate?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
And she starts riding him, and he's like, wait, stop, slow down,
I'm
stop.
gonna die.
And she's like, oh, you want me to start it over? Okay.
Starts that song over from the top.
Do-do-do. Oh.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I just was dying.
Anyway, I laughed so hard during this movie.
So hard. So then she's riding him, and he comes, and he's so afraid he's about to die, and then he doesn't die. And you're like, oh, all of that for nothing. Oh my God.
Oh, I can live my life.
Right? I thought I was going to die. I could live my life. And then Parker fucking frozen dead.
Just frozen.
Like a fembot.
Like a fembot.
Like fully just on top of
If she had started
right? I would have. It could have been. It could have been. And then they just
pick her up like a statue. She's frozen.
It was like Willy Wonka or something. I don't even know. It was so good.
It was so weird.
So fucking weird.
And I just adored it.
Yes.
Patti Lupone reveals herself.
In my bed.
Glad to see you're grieving my dead body.
Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah.
And then Patti Lupone holds court.
Oh my God.
And just tears him to shreds.
And
tears
eats
him
every
down,
inch of scenery.
Eats every inch of this terrifying murder house.
Yeah.
You rejected me and refused to breastfeed. While every other smug cunt on the street had happy, docile babies sucking their tits dry.
Is so good.
I
mean,
so
not that
good.
I'm surprised, but like, I haven't seen her in a minute.
I don't.
Actually, I just watched this David Mamet movie, Heist, and
Okay.
she is in it
Oh,
briefly.
cool.
And I mean, it wasn't this, but
I was going to say, I don't know if I've ever seen her on screen. Have I?
Surely you must have something.
In like what though?
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't really know her as a film actress.
That's true. I don't know what you would have seen her
I
in.
have seen her recently in Company,
Oh.
and she was great.
I'll drink to that.
But anyway, she gives such an amazing speech. And that's why I was a little surprised. I wasn't sure, right? I was like, well, Patti Lupone, I mean, we know she's a great singer.
Right.
And a good actress.
Well, you know, Broadway is a different type of acting.
Exactly.
And I mean, it was seamless. I think she's in more than you think.
Probably.
But haven't seen.
Or, right.
Right.
Or processed even, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Obviously,
She must have guest starred on Will and Grace at some point. Not that that's...
Only in that one. No, Patti Lupone, shut your beautiful brassy trap. I do not want to cut your hair, and I don't want to...
So see?
Yeah.
Obviously.
I've seen her in that.
Would you mind if I sang?
Shut up, Patti Lupone! Shut your brassy, magnificent trap! I don't want to hear you sing. I don't want to cut your hair, and I certainly don't want to hear you singing while I'm cutting your hair.
But on a whole, the casting was so
great.
fantastic
Yeah.
and amazing. So many people I was like happy to see.
And he does really good work. He clearly is a good director, not just in terms of visuals.
No, but actors.
Because when you look at all of the movies and all of the performances he's gotten out of them, it like Toni Collette's I Am Your Mother speech, iconic.
Yeah.
Patty's speech.
Oh.
Honestly, like Oscar worthy. I really do mean it.
I'm not being hyperbolic at all.
At all. I was so engaged, so like jaw dropped, mesmerized.
Yeah.
I was just, it was great.
And then you gave me the same CD 2 years in a row. It was for the boys. It was the Bette Midler. I felt like that was a directing to Bette Midler.
Maybe.
Like from Patti Lupone being like, fuck you.
Maybe.
You think this is any different from the time you gave me the exact same CD for my birthday that you gave me the year before, and which you also gave your fucking high school counselor?
Do they have an animosity?
I don't know, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised
That's
if
fair.
they like went up for the same parts.
I could easily.
You know, and there was something there, because that was just really funny.
Which Broadway do you lean, Bette Midler or Streisand as Dolly in Hello, Dolly?
Neither.
I don't know, but like it seemed so specific.
Yes.
That he gave her the For the Boys soundtrack. That really made me laugh.
That was a good one, too.
Of all the CDs.
Yeah. You've heard about Patty's Andrew Lloyd Webber Pool, right?
Pool or
Pool.
Pool?
No, like Pool.
Does it have his face on it?
No, it was paid for by him because she sued him or something. I forget. There's a whole dramatic story, but basically after Sunset Boulevard and he gave Glenn Close the role instead of her, she was like, fuck you, and they hate each other and they're like crazy animosity.
Glenn Close or Diane Carroll as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard?
What about Patti Lupone?
Pass.
Anyway, she has like a pool named after him because I'm pretty sure she won a lawsuit against him and then built a pool and named it the Andrew
That'd
Lloyd
be
Webber
funny if it was in the shape of the Phantom's mask.
That
That would be
would-
like an even extra fuck you.
Yes, yes.
My mother never gave me an inch of approval.
Oh my God, that picture!
She blamed me for everything her mother did to her.
It's like dead cut to, no, it was a rack focus.
It was a rack focus.
To evil Betty Davis looking crazy.
Clown creature.
Wish upon painting.
Sure.
You know, just like, what the fuck is this?
There was something else that it really reminded me of, like a troll or something. It was great. I laughed so hard.
So hard. Oh, because we're unraveling the mysteries of things he's blacked out from his
Right,
childhood
his
or whatever, because
memory,
we
his
keep
childhood.
hearing about this dream and the bathtub and the this and what's going
he was
on.
in the bathtub and his own self came and asked about his father and then got put into an attic.
And up in the attic, things happen in the attic.
Yeah.
What happened in the attic, Ari Aster? Because in
Right.
Hereditary, that's
Oh,
where she cuts
that's
her own head
right.
off.
That's right. What happened in the attic?
Bodies in the attic.
Nobody's allowed up there.
Some things are for your protection, Beau, and I want you to remember that I kept this from you.
This was the only time in the movie where I was a little bit like, what's gonna
happen?
What's gonna be up in that attic?
Yeah.
Though, like I'm just a little bit spooked. Just slightly. And then the flashlight's not working.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And I was like, what's in this attic, y'all?
Now, I feel like I need your help to decipher this one.
I don't know if I have an answer.
Okay, great. So he somehow is able to see, I forget, the lights come on.
It's movie flashlight.
Sure, yeah, the lights
Dramatic
come on.
movie flashlight.
Yep. There's his father.
But it's him.
But it's him, but like old man him again.
Chained to the... So, I think it's somewhat metaphorical.
Of course.
Maybe it's somewhat real. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, keeping him up there the whole time.
In the narrative of this,
or is it his twin?
You have a brother. So I have two brothers?
Lisa, please. Yes, Bart, you have a twin brother.
But wasn't it older than him?
I mean...
Not significantly
Not like,
enough?
he wasn't when he was in Walter Houston drag.
Oh, okay.
It was like...
So maybe it was his twin.
We did the only humane thing.
We chained Hugo up in the attic like an animal and fed him a bucket of fish heads once a week.
One of the bad sons got stuck up in the
because
attic.
he said, the brave one... stood up to you and whatever.
Right.
So then, because she couldn't control him,
then he goes up.
It was a little bit both. I don't think there's it's an Ari Aster movie, so I don't think it was it was this. It was definitely
but there was that
the dad.
But there was that old guy in the woods that was like, "Oh, hey, it's so good to see you.
I
took
used
care
to
of
take care of your dad.
Your dad, and he didn't die. He was fine. I took care of him in the attic."
I think it was the dad, but then also
him.
parts of him because whatever.
But then also, more importantly,
oh my God, why were we the only ones laughing at the enormous CGI dick with teeth and pinchers,
giant balls and little
huge and
little stabby.
Blah, 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 blah. I was laughing so hard.
This giant dick monster.
There's a giant dick monster in the attic. Can't get much better than that. And we were crying, laughing, and no one else was. And I was really confused by that. I was like, yo, there's a giant dick monster in the attic. At that point, maybe people had just lost. They were like,
I don't know.
No one walked out.
No one did.
But then, yes, we've got the tribunal of the Truman Show tribunal.
Yes, of defend your life.
Oh, because he gets in the boat because he's running away.
Oh, right.
Because we saw the future.
Yes.
Remember when they were at Amy Ryan's house and they had a channel that you could fast forward and rewind and see the past and future?
Yeah, like a CCTV. And it's like, here he is in the living room, and he rewinds, and it's like, there he was 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And then he fast forwards, and he goes faster and faster, and so it's like
and
glimpses
you see glimpses of the movie,
it's like,
and I really liked it.
I did too, because it was weird, where you're like,
and it was fast. I was like, where's that boat? When did the boat happen? What's going on with the boat? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, so he's gonna get in the boat? What's gonna happen there? He gets in a little wooden boat with a motor that he then goes, but there were oars. I was confused by that.
I think it was a metal boat. It was like the Jaws boat at Universal Studios. It was like,
maybe it was.
The amphitheater of judgment, and Richard Kind is there to
judge his life? To judge his
relationship with his mother.
Yes. Was he a good enough son?
We are gathered now to assess the extent of the subject's guilt.
His poor little defense attorney.
He was afraid.
He tried really hard. It was the anxiety. He couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Just like, hey guys.
Whatever. And then I loved that his stupid little engine motor just kept shaking more and more aggressively, and he's like, ugh. And then the whole thing just kind of explodes in a water.
His feet become attached to the bottom of the boat.
Oh.
For reasons.
Because that's just,
He's frozen.
Right.
Lots of people freezing in death.
Sure.
So his feet become attached, and then the boat flips over,
yes.
and he drowns slowly as the credits roll.
Yeah, he's trying to
flip it over,
but couldn't, I guess, because his feet were stuck?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I mean, that seems terrifying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was drowned by his own guilt.
Right. Drowned in guilt. And then that's it. An A24 production.
And Richard Kind. Honestly, we didn't talk about it enough. He was fucking amazing. I love him. The whole cast.
The whole cast. Really great.
The whole cast. I really like this movie. I think you've come around slightly.
I really...
Not that you didn't like it, but just like the more you talk about it, like it's interesting.
It's something to talk about.
It's fascinating. It was surprising. The amount of times, honestly, that it surprised me.
Yes.
It surprised me. That's how it was like.
It didn't surprise you.
I needed an emphasis on it. Like, that's so rare that I was delighted.
Yes, it was surprising. It was different. It was wacky. I laughed a lot. And that was fun. That got me through it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like in retrospect, I will enjoy it even more.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm down to rewatch.
It's a thinker. It's like a, peel back the layers kind of, you have to let it percolate and wash over you and go,
Because now I'm not going to be trying to figure it all out. No. Where's this going? What's going to happen?
Pick out more signs.
Oh my God.
Because we missed some.
Oh, absolutely. All of the graffiti, I can read it all. It'll be great.
Yeah. Cheers to Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next one.
I want to know what's next. Who knows?